Let's go. We're back to traveling. So I'm here in the business lounge waiting for my flight to Melbourne, and I'm traveling with Serena, Dave and Joe, and the whole idea is that we're doing a bit of a media tour. So we're shooting a couple of podcasts with a few guests. There's about nine sessions that we're doing, of which 3 are with clients. So these are clients that are based in Melbourne, so I've never met them. So it'd be good to connect with them, one-on-one. And then there's 6 podcasts that we're doing with guests as well. So I just hired a studio for 3 days. It's going to be really interesting to meet different people. And I think it's a real big focus this year for us to focus on, it's a real big focus to focus on. Our big focus this year is the podcast. So the More Than Money podcast, if you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. I'm literally talking to people that, have either started their businesses, founded something themselves, working somewhere, learnt a few things, and just trying to share that with you guys. But at the moment I'm reading this book. I realize that it's mirrored. So it's by Patrick Bet-David. He runs a YouTube channel called Valuetainment, and it's called Your Next 5 Moves, so Master the Art of Business Strategy. I think I'm about halfway, about 75 pages in, so that's going to be fun. And I also am watching a video that I've downloaded. Stephen Bartlett's made a video. It's actually an older video from about 2 or 3 months ago, but it's a behind the scenes, so I like watching those sort of videos. I've just smashed down some breakfast, got here at about 6 o'clock, it's now 6:47. We fly out, and then I think the flight is boarding at 7 o'clock. Head across to Melbourne, go straight to the studio, and then shoot the podcast back to back. And then hopefully tonight we could probably get some time off and go to, I think it's the Queen Victoria Markets. Now, I came here a couple of years ago with Sanjo just on a bit of a break, and I went to the same markets and I remember loving it. It just was really busy, so I'm hoping that it's not so busy, but we'll see how it goes. At the moment, it's a weird time, given that, I've started the year. It's the 8th today? Yeah, it's the 8th today, and I've found myself in a bit of a flow, which has been really cool. But this trip does throw things out of whack a little bit. So what I mean by flow is I try and do something for myself in terms of, mindset, developing, learning, and then I try and do something in terms of physicality, so physical work. So that's for my body, and that would mean, if it's a 45-minute walk or if it's a gym session, I'm able to do that, and then I try and eat healthy. Now, obviously here, I'm not really eating healthy. I tried my best, but there's no protein really in any of this stuff. And then from a physical point of view, I'm going to go straight into the podcast as soon as I land, so I can't do that. The reading part will hit the goal for the mindset. So if we do finish up early, I might want to go for a bit of a walk. I'm not sure if our hotel actually has a gym. I'm usually pretty good with these things, but I do say it hasn't been last minute this trip, but it sort of happened just before the Christmas break. Work was busy, so I didn't really get a chance to really deep dive into the different hotels, because I absolutely love that stuff. I need my home base to be really, really good. So when I travel, I would probably find myself spending the most on the hotel, and that's purely because that's my home base. So if I go to any country, that's what I want to spend my money on, and of course, the flights. So if we're flying a longer distance, I definitely want to go business class. And in this occasion, I suppose, I ended up getting points. I'll use points to go on my first leg from Sydney to Melbourne. So that was bizzo. And then coming back, I've paid, but it wasn't that much. So to have the peace of mind to be able to just, be in silence now can work as well, which is really cool. So just gives me a bit more clarity before I, jump into the day and the craziness that's going to be the podcast and shooting all of that. So I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Look who I'm with, the dream team. All right, so we've arrived in Melbourne, and our goal is to, hopefully you guys can hear me because I haven't got the mic on, but plan is that we're gonna go and grab an Uber from here, head across the hotel and hope for the best with checking in, But if not, then we can just drop our bags and maybe we grab some food, because I like eating really early. And then from there, we'll start the podcast journey. So I'll show you more behind the scenes once we're at, I guess, the podcast studio. All right, Joe, how was it?
It was great.
Yeah?
First podcast guest done.
Any hiccups?
There was a couple of things we had to figure out. So we didn't have tripods.
Yep.
Because we thought that they would provide them here, but apparently that's not a thing. So we went to Officeworks just around the corner, sorted that. We didn't bring batteries for the cameras as well, so we had to send Dave and Serena. They Ubered there, got fresh batteries for us. And
I basically had the charged batteries in my luggage, and I forgot to bring that. I brought my, the batteries that weren't charged. So it was cool because they ended up heading back to the hotel. We headed to Officeworks, and we got back at the same time, and everything worked out. So yeah, one down, and I think we have like 7 more to go, maybe 6 more, and we have our next guest coming in 8 minutes. So let's go.
I think the hardest part is done.
The hardest part is setting up everything.
Yeah, setting everything up, figuring out how the Rodecaster Pro works. So we figured that out.
What do you reckon about this?
It's pretty cool.
I think there's so much we can do with it, but obviously we just use it at a very basic level.
Yeah, like we're not using the faders, we're not mixing during. We just set the levels and then like record.
Yep.
But yeah, I think there is some tech in there.
I feel like we should get one. It looks cool. It's got lights and shit.
It's pretty cool. It's got full mics as well.
Yeah.
If we ever need.
Coming soon, maybe. Coming soon. But yeah, this space is actually pretty hectic. Let me show you what's going on here. Without smashing the camera. So, it's like this co-working space. Show you around. Cool space here. Like cool kitchen, pool table. It's like a WeWork, but nicer. So the plan is we smash out the next podcast, and then after that we are going to go and check out a couple of venues for the real estate conference that we're holding in May. So if you guys haven't registered for that yet, you should definitely register. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below. We're going to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Perth, and it's a proper real estate conference. There's going to be cool shit that's happening. I don't think it's just going to be about real estate. It might be a bit of personal finance as well. So if there's people that you want to see, potentially present as well, let us know, and I'll be sure to include them. But how am I feeling at the moment? This is really cool. Big ass whiteboard. I'm feeling really good, to be honest. The first one's always the hardest, not knowing if things are going to work. We tested everything, but again, you can never be too sure. So thankfully, that's the hardest part done. Now we just continue, rinse, repeat, and hopefully we just get better and better as the days go on. We're here for another 2 days. We leave on Friday, get back to Sydney on Friday night. So I'm really excited. I like doing these in person as well. I think it's a different vibe if you are sort of doing it as, something on Zoom. Obviously, it's not always possible to, do it in person, but that's the reason we're here, is because I think that there's, we can really invest in the production of what we're trying to create, and don't really see it happening in Sydney and Australia, so we'll try our luck. All right, Dave, where are we going?
So we're going to Loon.
First start how I start my vlogs. You have to say, let's go.
Let's go. We're going to Loon right now because Ron's crave croissant. So yeah, let's go.
Let's hope there's no queue. And what are you gonna order?
I think I'm gonna order the ham and cheese croissant. It's really good.
Ham and cheese.
And a coffee.
It's really hot.
How about you, Russ?
I'm gonna get the normal croissant. We're sticking
like
to
what?
the basics.
Like just plain
the original,
croissant.
the butter croissant, just the original.
So it's like a plain croissant.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my
it's
god.
It's beautiful.
Bro, this is actually so nice.
It's so good, eh?
Yeah. And it's so light as well.
It's like literally lighter than a phone. All right, well, look, there's no line. That's a good start. All right, let's have some croissant, get fat for the wedding. It's busy.
Did you see?
Go. How like Spanian does it? How does Spanian do it?
Did he do it?
Yeah, he's like.
That's how you know you're in Melbourne. Wait, I need to take a photo, sorry.
That's literally the reason you don't do drugs, kids.
No.
Anyways,
Dave, are you okay?
don't get scared, Dave. That's all right.
They
It's
have
just
Europe
it's just
here.
Melbourne, bro. What am I gonna do?
Wait, can you move your legs out of it?
Oh, you want to take a photo?
One more. Yep, good, thank you.
All right, let's suss this out, guys. I realize I'm with social media people here.
Please take that cardigan off, it's so hot.
Okay, wait.
It's for style.
Oh my gosh, look how dirty these already are.
You have to use the hype spray.
I know I'm gonna watch this, and
And
what's gonna
crave
happen?
one?
I'm gonna crave it.
But now you can go in Sydney.
I'm not gonna wait there in line.
Because I'm gonna record this.
Not cool.
You have chocolate all over your face, bro. What are we doing after this? What's the time? Nobody knows.
Yo, can you be here? I want to record one more.
Nobody cares.
100 people on my vlog.
I think it'll have to be a whole Melbourne vlog for you have to stop today.
No, just like a little bit. It's fun. Guys, look quick.
Can I be in it?
Yeah.
Hectic. All right, guys. Thought I'd give you guys an update as to what's going on. We are now back after having Loon Croissant. I think you would have seen some clips there of, you know, our little indulgence. But the idea is that it's now 4:50. We're going to meet back at the lobby at 5:30, and we're going to head across to the Victoria Summer Night Markets. I came here probably about 3 years ago, I think, with Sanjo, and we had a great time. There was this Sri Lankan food there, and I still think about it. So the fact that I'm here, I'm really, really hoping it's still there. I still feel like I can taste it. But anyways, that's the plan. But I actually wanted to, yeah, I guess I was going to audio messages to myself, but I thought it's raw, it's emotions, and I should share it with you guys here. I'm not sure if I captured anything. I don't think I did on here, but I obviously do the vlog, which is behind the agency, which will probably come out next week from the time this comes out. But we ended up catching an Uber to get to, to Loon Croissant, and obviously checking out the venue for the real estate conference. And as soon as I got in, the guy was like, "Oh, you look familiar. And if you're watching, man, like, what's up?" He was like, "Oh, I thought you looked familiar." And I said, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Oh, you're Ravi, right? From YouTube." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Aren't you based in Sydney?" And I was like, "Yeah. We came here to shoot some podcasts and things like that." And the way that he was speaking to me, and I obviously really appreciate those moments, because obviously when you're talking to a camera, and you don't know who's behind the camera, it doesn't feel as human. But this definitely helped. Hopefully that's okay. This definitely helped, where you get to connect with people. Obviously the podcast helped as well. And yeah, he was just talking to me about how he's been following me for ages, and he's like, man, I made the wrong move by buying something off the plan, and you know, it happened before I found your channel, and I feel so bad that I'm in this position, but I'm looking at buying stuff in my SMSF, my self-managed super fund. And the way that he spoke to me, the way that I spoke to the podcast guest that was before that as well, it just made me realize that you're almost always just looking forward, and you're looking at, you know, someone who's bigger than you, and not in the wrong way, like not with envy. For me, I look at someone like Stephen Bartlett and what he's done with his podcast and his entire brand. I look at someone like Chris Williamson and where he started from to where he's rebranded himself, and now he's got Modern Wisdom. And I look at those guys and I'm like, man, these guys are just on a whole nother level. And on the way here, I was watching a video of Behind the Diary, which is the behind the scenes for Stephen Bartlett. And it was a video from, I'm going to guess, probably 6 to 8 months ago. And he was talking about his journey, and it was so fascinating because a lot of those things is what we're doing now. And, you know, I'm not predicting that we're going to have 8 million subs and be the #1 podcast, although I just put it out there in the universe. It's wild because someone's been in your position before. And I realized that I look up to these guys and I'm like, oh my God, they like, if I ever see them, and I did, and I freaked out, I realized that I'm probably that person for a lot of you guys. Maybe not on this channel, but, you know, potentially the other channel. And it's just such a weird feeling when you've got people like yourself following for so long, when I literally was wearing business shirts to try and fit in, didn't know what I was supposed to create content about because I was new, and I just literally spoke about stuff that I did, and, you know, how I learned how to buy property and the right strategies and how it can help you grow, to now having a following of like 80,000 people. And to put it into context, and I thought about it in that moment when I had seen the guy in the Uber ride, to put it into context, 80,000 would fill out a stadium. Like, if you think about the NRL Grand Final, like that sort of level, and you're in the middle of it. So it's just wild to think that this is the journey so far, and I'm very grateful. I'm enjoying the process. Of course, when you go with social media, you've got to deal with hate. You've got to deal with people not liking what you have to say. I still get that now. I feel like you get it more because as you get bigger, you have the algorithm push your content out to people that may not be interested. And also, YouTube's interesting, or even Spotify. People are discovering you now, but don't really know what your day one looked like. And because of that, you get opinions of certain people in a certain way. Whereas there's a few people that might be watching this and going, man, I've seen you grow the company when it was just yourself, and I've seen you make those shitty videos. And some videos, I remember actually, I watched one before I came on this trip because I wanted to see how I worded a particular point in a video. And I remember watching that video, and I watched, and it was a great video, like obviously, you know, non-biased, but it was great with what I had and the knowledge I had at the time. And then I realized about, 80% of the way through, the audio cuts out, and the audio goes from the audio that I was using on my lapel mic to then just not working because it ran out of battery. And I then reflected straight away. I went into this mode where I was thinking, shit, there used to be a time where I'd hit record, or at least I thought I hit record, and it wasn't recording. And how many mistakes I've made just to get to this point now, and I'm sure I'm going to make heaps more. Even like today, we flew in with no tripods. We had the battery, but I left it in the hotel room. And then we had to go buy tripods, and you figure out solutions. But it's just so crazy, like how far we've come and how far we're going to go. And I'm so excited to take you guys on that journey. I am, I guess, in this weird position where it's like, I still feel like I'm that dude that was making videos and there was no one watching. But now I've got to get used to the fact that there are some people watching. And as much as I love that, it is weird when I come out into the public and then I have people stop me, because it's happening a lot more recently. And I didn't start the channel to become famous. I'm not saying I'm famous now, but I never started the channel to get recognized or that was the purpose behind it. It was literally, guys, I'm pretty sure there's people sitting down there at home that want to know about this stuff. And if it can help them grow financially and, help their families, lower their stress levels, then that's all I want. But now I've got to sort of see how it feels with people coming up. And I know that, it's part of the game. It's the reality of the entire situation. And it's happening more often now than it has previously. So it's probably hitting me a little bit more. But traveling is going to be a big part of what happens in 2025, especially with the real estate tour as well. So yeah, it's a very exciting time, but I thought I'd document this because this is what it's all about, documenting the highs and the lows. And I'm not saying this is a high or a low. It's just me sharing my thoughts so I can always come back to this. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. After this, we're going to go to the markets. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm not taking the camera. And yeah, I'll enjoy the time that I have here and a couple more days. I have started recruiting again for the team. We've got some big plans and I know that we're going to need more resources, more hands on deck to actually execute. So I'm very excited by what that brings. Next week, it's going to be a weird week because I have to go and do the audio recording for the book. So Retire Filthy Rich with Real Estate, because there's going to be an audio version. So for people that watch the videos, they'll know that you can now consume the book in audio. So if you're someone that wants to get it on Audible or something like that, you'll be able to as well. I think that'll come out on release, so there's no pre-order for that. But again, I don't know. I've never done this before, so I'm just going to wing it and we'll see what happens. But I'll probably catch up with you guys now tomorrow. Morning, guys. I ended up going to the summer markets with Dave, Serena, and Joe. It was packed. It was actually less packed than it was a few years ago when I went with Sanjo. But when I did speak to the Uber driver as well, he had mentioned that it just seems like the city's dead at the moment, which is weird because the Australian Open kicks off in a couple of days. So yeah, straight after we ate, we pretty much left, came back, and I think I was in the room by probably 7:45. Ended up having a shower and then tried to catch up on a bit of work, but I was just so tired. I think travel days are always hard, and I think despite that, we still did 2 podcasts and then actually going and visiting the potential location for our real estate conference. We have one more today in terms of conference space that we're going to check out, but we've had a last minute addition to the podcast. So I think today I've got 4 podcasts that I'll be shooting, which is going to be nuts. And I'm going to try and get like an hour-long walk in today as well, because when you're shooting the podcast, you're just sitting down. And I feel like yesterday was good in terms of steps. So I ended up getting about 11,000. And I'm going to try and get probably close to 11 to 15K today. And the reason for that is because I want to stay active every day. As you guys may know, I've got the wedding coming up, but just in general, like this year has been, there's a great focus on fitness and health. And so I just got to keep being active. And that might mean that tonight, straight after I do the podcast, I'll come back, I'll change and I'll go for a walk. And I can probably take you guys around as well. I'm not really familiar with this part of Melbourne. I think we're staying in West Melbourne or South Melbourne. I'm not sure. But I'll try and go up to... Actually, that's what we'll do, is I will take you guys as we walk to... I'm hoping I can get to South Bank in that time. I think I'm close to there. And we'll go across into the Crown Casino, because it'll be a mad throwback to anyone that was following me during the Vegas vlog, which I'll link somewhere as well. So yeah, I ended up sleeping okay. It's always hard. I usually take my travel pillow with me. So I did that and that made it a lot better. But then I woke up at 6, just like normal. As you know, at home, I'm usually up between 5:30 and 6 anyway. And then I decided to just smash out some emails. I had quite a bit there because yesterday I obviously didn't get a chance to, and I know today's going to be really difficult. So just smashed out some work. Time just went by real quick, and I've now caught up on that front. So that's good, and I'm happy about that. And now it's just going to be some prep. It's currently 9:06. All I had for breakfast was Chobani yogurt. They don't do breakfast at the hotel, and to be honest, like, I really get carried away when there's like a buffet breakfast. And so I felt like even if I was to go to a cafe down around here, I was just going to end up eating, a lot of carbs for no reason. Yesterday I ended up going to Loon, and then in the morning when I was at the lounge, I had croissants as well because I didn't really like the food. So yeah, this is the life of a basic bitch, I suppose, when it comes to food. But you know, it's the life I chose. So yeah, idea is go in. I'll have probably about 20 minutes to prep before my first podcast for the day. And then after that, I'm going to try and, you know, sneak in an Uber Eats, eat at the place as well. It's a co-working space, so it's got like a kitchen, it's got like a golf simulator as well. And I have massive respect for anyone that plays golf, because I used to watch, you know, I saw it on TV and I've seen people do it. I'm like, how hard could it be? And yeah, I ended up trying it and I completely failed. So I'm not sure if Dave ended up taking a video of me, but if it is, then you'll probably have seen it pop up on the screen now. And yeah, play this. It can't be that hard.
Okay, Rob is worse than us actually.
It's not possible.
Whoa.
Whoa, you're actually better than us.
It was really bad. So mad respect. And they have a pool table as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to be active there. And so you're really excited just to smash out these podcasts. I've got obviously a big focus this year with the podcast and growing it. And I'm very, very confident with how we're producing it. You know, the plans that we have of distribution as well. It's going to be amazing to see the results come through. So it's just about staying consistent. And now after this trip, we'll have probably 11 episodes all backed up. So it'll be a weekly podcast that will go out. And then I've got some additions that I want to have as well in there. So I'm really excited. I think, you know, to start the year the way that we have, and, you know, literally it's the 9th of Jan, and, you know, you probably see this come up in a couple of days, but it's phenomenal, the speed at which we've kicked off this year, and I'm really happy with the momentum. And to be honest, a part of me thought it would be like this, given that we've hired the right people, the training's there, everyone's got the right mindset, we've got big goals. But, you know, it sort of surprised me as well that everyone just jumped onto it, and this is week 1. So, you know, we're 3 days into the working week effectively for the year, and we've already started kicking some really good goals. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm obviously keeping in touch with the team back in Sydney and seeing what they're up to, and they're also doing really well. And yeah, I'm just really happy. So I'm going to go and do the podcast. Less talking for me now, because I just want to smash them out, and I'll get you guys back on, hopefully when I'm on my walk. All right, guys, that's it. Melbourne's done. I'm at the airport now. I realized that I didn't go out for my walk, and the main reason for that was because I felt like I was way too tired, firstly. Secondly, I just kept walking around in my actual apartment after I ate food, because I was on calls, just catching up with the team, audio messages and things like that. So overall, really successful. You'll see in a couple of days, actually. So if I'm releasing this on Saturday, you'll see on Behind the Agency on the main channel, you'll see another version or a different perspective of this entire trip. And I urge you guys to go watch that. Just some really insightful conversations. I'm glad that we did it. It's the first time we've done something like this, and I'm really happy. Tired, you know, to connect with people and speak to so many people for an introvert like myself is difficult. But yeah, at the moment I'm at the lounge, and the Model Y just got released, the new one, and I was only talking to you guys about it last week on the vlog. The week before, actually, and I was saying that, yeah, I'm waiting for the new Model Y to be released. So it just came out. I'm looking into it. I'm tempted. So I think I'm going to end up getting one. It'll arrive in May, and they only require like a $400 deposit. They're saying May, but it could be June, July, but it could be a nice birthday present. And I'm just playing up between whether I get the standard or the long range. I don't really know too much about cars, to be honest, but it means that the Craptiva days are numbered, and I'm looking forward to just being in something that feels like a spaceship, to be honest, compared to what I've got. But with that, I'm going to leave you, love you and leave you, I think is what they say. And I'm literally just going to continue reading my book. I've got a couple of emails that I want to send out, and then flight leaves in about an hour. So I'm just so keen to be back in my own bed, and yeah, just get back into, I guess, the health side of things as well. You know, I didn't get to work out. There was no gym. But yeah, I think it helps. Like when you're in the flow, you just want to keep momentum up. So I'm keen to get back and do that. So guys, thank you so much. If you enjoy this, subscribe if you haven't already. I think a bunch of you guys watch but don't subscribe, which is interesting. because then you have to manually go look for the videos. This way, at least you'll know when it drops. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.